Okay, the last real chord in measure 32 on beat 3 is going to be B, E, A, and D. And then you go down to G. Try that a couple times where you copy me. Okay, the previous chord, the one that ties across the bar line, it is C, F sharp, A, and E flat. So we hit that on the and of 4, and then, so copy me a couple of times on those 3 chords. We have this, and again, okay, the 2 chords before that, those 8th notes on beat 3, measure 31, we have A, D, G, and C, and that moves up a whole step. So you just move that up 2 frets to B, E, A, D. So in 7th position to 9th position, and then into that diminished chord in 10th position. Why don't you just try that? Copy me from beat 3 of measure 31. Let's do it a few times. First time. And your turn. I'll do it again. Your turn. Okay. And then one more chord. Let's back up to the beginning of measure 31. So this G6, it's E, B, D, and G. Again, that's E, B, D, and G. You can also do it in 7th position. Of course, the same notes, E, B, D, and G. You might recognize it as an E minor 7 chord. It is also G6. And at any rate, you go from that chord up to that 7th position move with the 8th notes into the diminished. So I'm going to play it 3 times, just lightly counting, not too strict, just as a first go of it. This time you can try playing with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. 2 and 3, 4. Let's try that again. Ready, play. 1, 2, 3, and. Okay, so we're going to lead into measure 31 just from one measure before that. Let's take what they have labeled as the D7 chord. We have F sharp, C, E flat, and B flat. And that moves forward to the G6. So again, that D7 chord, the E flat here, it's the flat 9. The B flat is the flat 13, sharp 5. Okay, just back up one more chord, this A minor with a 9th on top. It is G, C, E, and B. So just copy that sequence of chords a few times. Listen to me play it here. Your turn. Here, I'll play it again. You can copy that. Okay, and then I'm going to play it a little bit in time. You can join me now. And of 1 is when we come in measure 30. 3 and 4 and 1. 3 and 4 and 1. Same thing, 2 more times. 3, 4 and 1. And 3 and. This time I'll go all the way to the end. Ready? 4 and 1. 4 and 1, 2. Okay, the E7 chord in measure 29, those 2 eighth notes. The first one on beat 3, it goes A, E flat, F sharp, and C natural. And that moves down to everything 1 fret lower. That's A flat, D, F natural, and B natural. That's really the E7 chord there with a flat 9. We're leading into it from a half step above. So again, the first one, A, E flat, F sharp, C. You might recognize it as a diminished 7 voicing. And that moves down to 6th position. All right, so we got on beat 3, and that goes forward into the next measure. But let's back up just 1 chord. Let's take the last chord of measure 28. What comes in on beat, the end of 4. We have D natural, F sharp, A, and C sharp. It's a B minor 9. And then we have to get used to that, heading down, this, to the E7. So again, the tail end of measure 28, moving down to 7th position, and then to 6th. So let's get some copying done on that. I'm going to play those chords, and you can play them back. Your turn. Let's do a couple more of those. Your turn. Okay, this time I'll start to count. You can play with me. And of 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this time we'll continue at least into like measure 31. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2, 4, and 1. Yeah, let's do it one more time. We'll go all the way to the end. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 and Okay, the chords at the start of the chord section, measure 28. The first one is C, E, G, and B. Again, that's C, E, G, and B. Now for the next chord, your pinky stays on C, your middle finger will move over to the E flat, and your index finger will bar the top 2 strings. Depending on your hand, you might bar more than the top two strings, it doesn't really matter if you do, but you have to bar the first two. And that shape, one more time, it's C, E flat, F sharp, B, is going to move up a half step. And then from there, going into the B minor chord. So that's all of measure 28. Let's just have you copy that a little bit. Your turn. Again. Okay, then let's do it in time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2, and. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Okay, and then there's just a little pickup right before 28 we want to include. You'll be in 7th position, so your ring finger can grab the B natural, and then you have C. That's from the and of 3 into 4, and then you have the chord. And so on. So one more time, starting on measure 27, the and of 3. 1, 2, and 3.